Before I close out this series, let me give you some meeting rules that you may want to consider. Number one, always start on time. Always start on time. Hit the mark, always start on the time. You condition people to be on time always when you do that. Do not wait for late comers. In fact, if you have late comers, do not stop and explain what you've gone over. I've seen this happen in meetings. Somebody arrives 10 minutes late. We stop the meeting just to explain to that latecomer what we were talking about in the last 10 minutes. You killed more time, but you also given them permission to be able to arrive late and pretty much, messed up with everybody in the room because they arrived on time, they were responsible, now they have to stop, lose an extra 10 minutes, lose time from a recap, they feel cheated out of some time. Also, should it be a 1 hour meeting, a 30-minute meeting, a 15-minute meeting? Let's figure out what the time frame is. I believe that shorter is always better. If you can compress it down to 30 minutes, I think that's an ideal time, unless it's something that is very strategic, high level, that needs to be discussed, that we need to be able to actually use 1 hour. But if we can do this, always understand that we need to finish it on time. If we say it's a 30-minute, training, end in 30 minutes. If it's an hour, end in an hour. Right? We need to be able to set up the right culture in our company where we talk about always punctuality. We mean what we say, we do what we say, we do what we do. Now, only invite key players. If somebody doesn't belong in the room, they shouldn't be in the room. Too often we invite people into the training room only because we don't want to offend them. You know what? Let them know that the reason why they weren't invited, and maybe you can have a sidebar with them, is because you're focusing on this particular item right here. And if down the road that they are needed, that we will be more than happy to be able to invite them. Only invite people who should be in the room. And don't be afraid to say no to people who wants to attend who shouldn't really be there, okay? Also, let's also look at looking out for hijackers. These are the people that come into a meeting that tries to take over the meeting and move it on to a different directions. So if you're the leader, you're the champion, make sure that you stop, hijackers. These are people that actually try to interrupt the meetings. If you have to, be polite and tell them that, hey, this is not something that we should be talking about in the meeting. This is for a different discussion for a different time. Let's get back into what we're really talking about in the problem that we're trying to solve in this meeting. Again, be aware of hijackers because they're going to kill your time. Also, no laptops, no notepads. Writing pads are yes. What I'm talking about is iPads, for example, or an Android tablets, right? None of those. And no phones in the room. If they're going to have phones, make sure it's turned off, make sure it's in their bag, make sure it's in their pocket and they don't bring it out. You want them to be highly focused at the problem at hand. So laptops, tablets, phones are just pure distractions in the meetings. Make it a rule and part of your culture. Last but not least, right? If you can finish early in a meeting, that is always a bonus. Always shoot for finishing early, but never exceeding the amount of time that you say that you want to take from them. One of the things that I add into these rules is try to be able to avoid as many distractions as possible as you can. When you look at a meeting, it's all about streamlining the process. How do we go from A to Z the fastest way, asking the right questions, having the right people involved, and making sure that everybody is engaged. If you do this, and everything that we discussed up to this point, and you will be able to have a productive meeting. Always understand that this is important for you guys, is that my goal is to be able to show you guys how to be able to save money by making sure that you're having these productive meetings, by being able to answer the questions, by being able to implement the right things for your company. Always understand that marketing and sales is easy when you know what you're doing.